right, we're good.
All right, so I'm starting. I'm the host.
You're the host.
That's very exciting. So this, to me, is like when you watch a show like The Office and you stick with it and love it for the first 7 seasons, and then Michael Scott leaves, and you're like, I mean, I guess...
Did they really put Andy in charge of it?
I guess I'll keep watching. I don't know why. I want to find out how it ends, but I don't really give a fuck anymore. So that's what this is, apparently. I'm with Chris and Dave. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, sir.
It's even worse than that. It's like Laverne and Shirley when Shirley left and Laverne was like checked out, and it's just Lenny and Squiggy, like their adventures. Like there's no reason to
That's
watch.
what I was saying, where I, not as good a show, but that 70s show came to mind where it's like, these characters wouldn't be in this house anymore. Like, why are they, the show should have ended.
Yes.
So, but we're here, we're doing it, and I always feel very uncomfortable because I've gotten a lot of tries at this. I've had a few rough drafts with mental time, I guess, and I've fucked it up the first couple of times. So we'll see how this goes. Although I'm not an employee anymore, so I'm just taking Cullinane's lead.
That's true.
Like.
That's true. You're just taking the pressure off me.
Cullinane is telling me to do this, so I said I would do it.
You're a good soldier, Mike.
Yes. So
why is it weird? Like, if he were off on radio, somebody has to fill in. So, like, why does it have to be weird? Just because it's a podcast?
No, because I feel like it wouldn't be us filling in if you were on radio.
Yeah. I guess you're right.
You would still be there, I guess, because you're the producer, but I don't think this would be the selection of...
You think if this, Chris, do you agree with that? You think if this podcast in its current form were on the radio in the mornings, let's say, that if Kirk was out, Mike wouldn't be the host?
Well, I just don't think this podcast would be on the radio. Like, this is a whole different energy.
Can you play the game? Play the game for a second. Let's say it was on the radio, Chris.
I know, but I'm just saying, but I think the reason it does feel weird, and I agree with Mike that it does, is just because this has such a different energy than like a traditional
podcasts
radio
don't
show.
usually do that, where it's like fill-in guys for some vague amount of time.
Especially this show where the talent gap is so
wide. So tremendously wide. Because that's the Office analogy again doesn't work because like at least Dwight is a great character. Well, we don't have that really.
Right.
And Andy, you could be like, he's enough like Michael Scott. I don't know.
It's more like Saved by the Bell, the new class, when you had instead of Screech you had Weasel.
Right.
It was just a really rough. Yeah, that's what this is. But we'll do the best we can, I guess.
Why do we underestimate ourselves, gentlemen? Why can't we have a confidence in our abilities whatsoever?
Well, I guess
it's a realism, Dave.
We can just get started with. I thought Dave brought up a very interesting point that I had not seen anywhere. We were talking before the show, and he made something. I mean, I guess I hadn't thought of, but it was an interesting perspective where he said, you know, the real unfortunate thing that kind of breaks your heart about all this is I was going to get to do shows with Ryan Whitney and Jared Carrabis this week. Now it's a little selfish of Kirk to leave me like this.
Ryan Whitney, who didn't even like respond to my text messages confirming he would come in or not, just utter disgust.
Yeah, when I walked in, I saw a little tear leave Dave's eye. It's like, you're not Ryan Whitney.
What could have been a Spittin' Chicklets poster up?
This would have been an unbelievable content week. It's a shame. It really is.
So, I mean, obviously, we all know what happened. I talked about it a little last night. Someone said I poured my heart. You said someone on Twitter was saying I poured my heart out.
Manners said it.
I didn't feel that way. I think when I'm alone, I get very weird. Like, I'm not funny at all. Not that I'm funny now.
You're alone?
Not that I'm funny now.
All right.
But, like, I'm not playful at all is a better word, I guess. I seem very serious for some reason. But, I mean, obviously, it's a weird situation. And like I said last night, you know, I hope the show comes back selfishly, but also like if it's bad for Kirk, I would rather it doesn't come back because it's a thing. And I think he said as much. It won't go away. The only way it goes away is if he stops doing. I would say probably both podcasts. I don't know Murchison's involvement with the case, but I'm assuming he goes after those advertisers too. So I don't think it goes away if he continues podcasting, which is I imagine a tremendously difficult decision. And he's obviously had to deal with it several times.
Well, I mean, I don't think, does it matter what content you're producing? Obviously, his mental health is going to be what it is, no matter what you're doing on a daily basis, right? And then the flip side, the Murchison angle, it doesn't matter. Kirk could stop this thing. He's not done. Like, as long as Kirk's tweeting, as long as he's public, like, Murchison just won't stop until...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's gross.
Well, I just don't know what he wants. That's what makes me so angry. Like, what does he want?
There's nothing that he wants. It's not, and I can tell you why it's clearly got nothing to do with any sort of trans issue or anything, is because You would remember better than me, Chris, maybe, but I don't remember Kirk being the one saying it. Not to throw anyone else under the bus.
No.
I don't remember Kirk being the one that said anything that bad in the original clip.
No, I mean, so Murchison's mad at Kirk because he was in the room when someone made anti-trans comments 6-7 years ago. Is this what we're doing?
It's not even, by the way, it's not even necessarily anti-trans comments. It's just the fact that the conversation was had. A conversation that was not viewed as positive or entirely positive, right? Look at just, even, I know we bring it back because we kiss his ass a little bit, but Joe Rogan, right? He can't say anything about the vaccine unless it's whatever Dr. Fauci said. And that's the same thing in this situation, is if it's not in the exact light that they want to hear something, then it's negative, and now we have to attack them.
But no, the reason I brought that up is that whoever's in that room made the joke in question that it got Murchison so angry about the show Transparent or whatever it was.
I mean, Jerry said it on his show. He's like, Jerry's even said on Jerry Callahan podcast, Kirk's not the one who made the offending comments.
Right.
So, I mean, it was
I think that tells you everything you need to know about Murchison, because Kirk's the one he's going after the hardest. Because Kirk fights back, and Kirk's going to talk about it as much as he can on the show. And that, I think that's the aspect that Murchison likes, where it's some sort of war or battle. You know what I mean? Like, he's still going after Jerry as far as I know, right?
Yep, believe so.
It doesn't seem like as hard as there are not hit pieces that he's commenting on in the fucking Business Insider about Jerry Callahan.
Right.
It seems like more aggressive towards Kirk, and maybe that's just because I
But what did Murchison
pay more attention to that?
To your point of what does he want? Like what did he win by being included in this article? Which I know, Chris, I've seen you question this. Why was he there to the first place? He shouldn't have been there in the first place.
I disagree, Dave. I think it's very important that in an article essentially accusing Dave of rape, which he didn't do, in the people in the article said he didn't do it, but it's important to have Bob Murchison in there because he covered Barstool. Which, by the way, so Murchison's credentials for being in this article are that he's covered Barstool for the last 2.5 years. Well, with that logic, hasn't Chris also?
Yeah,
isn't Chris an equal insider? Isn't every fucking stoolie an insider on Barstool that's paid attention to the Barstool world?
Yes.
That's Bob's big credential, and he's a fucking equity trader or whatever they called him.
Bob's only win, and I think Dave said this, and we'll play some of Dave's show in a little bit here, but Dave said Bob's only win in this situation is he took Kirk off the air. For how long, we don't know. That was Bob's win, right? He got under Kirk's skin, or he thinks that he played a role in taking Kirk off the air. I don't know if that's true. Based on what Kirk said, this is something that had been boiling over the last couple of weeks. You can't hold it in, all that stuff. I don't know anything on the personal level about that stuff.
That's the other thing, too, is like, I don't know that it's necessarily just Murchison.
Yes.
And I hate commenting on this because Kirk would hate me commenting on it, and I don't know the guy personally. So I have no fucking idea. This is me talking as a listener, but there have been a couple times when I've been in here where he's made like jokes or kind of subtle comments, and I think you've even heard me go like, oh boy, we're kind of fucking around, but I have picked up on, like, he'll start making more of those comments when he's kind of dealing with it a little more. And I don't know what my role is supposed to be. I don't think I'm the guy he wants to have a heartfelt conversation with. So I kind of just make a joke about it on the show. Maybe that's wrong of me. I have no idea. But my point is, it's not just Bob Murchison. He may have been the straw that broke the camel's back, but
I don't know. And obviously the timing is the timing, right? So you make people want to think that either way. So maybe Bob gets a fucking little stiffy in his pants because he might have played a role in that. But the truth is, probably one, you're wrong, and then two, what else came of Bob Murchison's inclusion in this? Like, nothing came of it. We don't know of any advertisers that left Barstool because of this yet. Like, we don't know anything else. The only fact that has come out that has actually happened is that Kirk decided to step away, and they probably aren't even connected, in my opinion. I don't know, but he shouldn't have been a part of it, and he really didn't win and get anything out of it except for a stiffy that he was included.
It's very emotional. It's very passionate.
It's gross. It's harassment. It's gross from so many angles.
It's wild harassment. Alba was asking me about this. She's like, why can't Kirk sue him or something? And I was like, I think he's, I hate to say smart about it, but like, I think he does it in a manner where if Kirk could do anything legally, I'm sure he would have by now. Where there's just no repercussion he can take.
Bob's a very smart guy. Yeah. He's a smart guy with nearly unlimited resources, but he keeps changing the goalpost. So, behind the scenes stuff, Dave, Mike, and I were texting, and we're just kind of looking at older episodes, like kind of just trying to figure it out.
Right.
And Mike mentioned the October 2nd, 2019 episode, and I went back and listened, which is an interesting listen if people are looking for some old episodes. And it's Bob's the clips that Bob sent out to advertisers at the show at the time. And none of the clips had anything to do with trans. Right. It was all about Mike fucking his mother.
I was gonna say, some of them weren't Kirk. Some of them were like me or Steve.
Yeah. And it was, I don't know if are we on YouTube, Dave, right now?
We're not live.
Okay.
We're recording it, but we will be.
Like the C word. I know you can't say that on YouTube. So, that was one of the clips. It was a few different clips, but none of them had anything to do with trans issues.
Yep.
So I don't know. That's what my question is. What does Bob want? Like, that's what I don't understand.
And what has Portnoy ever done in that realm? You know what I mean? Like, if it's trans, like, how does Portnoy get involved in this at all? Or is it just Murchison sees another person he can fuck with now? Like, I don't get the Portnoy angle or Murchison being involved in that article whatsoever, because it has literally nothing to do with Kirk.
Well, it started out as, like it's like a shield. Like he's used trans as his shield of why he should start being an activist. And then it just translated into, oh, no, I'm going to cancel, just anybody who's controversial, right? And I don't know if he's going behind the scenes.
I don't think it's that, though. He's not going after anyone. He's not going after fucking Dave Chappelle.
So it's Kirk, right? It's Kirk first, Kirk and Jerry, and then it's anybody they touch around them. I would assume.
I guess. Yeah. Oh, no, I don't think that either. I think it's a big enough name. Because I was saying, like, if he wanted to, he could find clips of me saying something dumb. But he hasn't done that, except on the ones we played on the show, obviously.
Yep.
But I say dumb shit everywhere, so he could find those if he wanted to. And
there's so many right-wing shows that speak so much more negative stuff about trans stuff, whether it be on Fox News or whatever have you, that are bigger names than Kirk.
Right.
I just don't understand what the obsession with Kirk is. I don't know how this ends. Like, I don't know. Because he keeps changing the goalposts. I don't know what he wants, and unless you know what he wants, nothing can end.
It's got to be a miserable thing to deal with. And the other thing about Kirk's mental health, again, that I probably shouldn't speak on, but the thing he always brings up that I can't relate to at all is hearing voices in his head that he can't control. That's an angle that, like, I've dealt with depression and all that shit, but the idea of hearing voices, especially a guy like Kirk who's always so in control, not having control over that has to be difficult, which is a thing. I don't know if that's triggered by Murchison or how that works, but that's also another angle of it that is very scary to think about. Which is
why, I mean, this all transpired last Thursday, so it's a week ago now. I was here because we had that scheduled Sopranos episode, so we haven't done. There hasn't been any content, right? We haven't done. I mean, we've done.
He came back and did the one.
Monday show, right? Because of the Business Insider story and Murchison's inclusion. But the fact that he, I guess it's kind of similar, probably to the fact that he did the Sacco shows, right? Last year he did both Sacco shows and then took his time away.
Right.
I mean, I was amazed that he did the 3 minutes and then felt compelled to still go through with that interview. He said it was kind of like it was going to be therapy. I don't know what was your takeaway from that, Chris? Because you're a big Sopranos guy too. It did feel like he started to get more like
comfortable. What was your take on the Sopranos question specifically?
No, I just mean like it did seem like he got. I don't know. It calmed him down to do that interview.
I mean, you were in the room with him. I don't know. You said there was like a 15-minute gap between the 3 minutes that started the show and then the interview itself. I mean, I've been listening to Kirk so long, so I'm sure anyone who's been listening for a long time heard his voice wasn't quite right.
Right.
But his questions made sense. Everything was a legitimately good question he asked. Imperioli obviously kind of, bit back at him a little bit, and then Kirk didn't, cower and run. He just kind of tried to explain his point better. It wasn't like he just melted down and disintegrated. So, I mean, he's a professional, so I'm sure he looked at it like, all right, I got to do my job for the next half hour, get through this, and then I can kind of worry about my shit later.
Yeah.
I said it would have been great. Like, I don't want that to be the last show, but how fitting would it have been if the last show was Kirk pouring his heart out and getting very emotional and then having an awkward interaction with Michael Imperioli and then just never coming back.
Yeah. Like Steve Sharippa has the last word in the Kirk Minahan show.
Which, by the way, yes, it's just me, Chris, and Cullinane here, but there's been an offer extended. And as I said to Cullinane, as much as it seems like people want us to do it, I believe the offer from Steve Robinson was the proof that I will not do a show with you. When he said, find me somewhere in the country and I'll do a show with you.
No other context, no clues, no nothing. Just get in a van, Carano's included in that mix too. Why do you leave out Justin, by the way? Justin should be in on that trip, don't you think?
Wouldn't that be great? If we could pack a fifth person, especially Justin Size, in that car to play Where's Waldo with Steve Robinson.
Dave, have you been coming in every day, even though Kirk's like, are you still coming to the studio at 6 a.m. every day?
No, I have not been coming in. No, this is the first. Have I been here
Punches
since?
a clock.
No, I haven't been here since. Yeah, I haven't been here since Monday. We did the show Monday. Yeah, so I haven't been in here, and we've been talking just via text, not obviously normal like text exchanges with Kirk. We were supposed to talk about the case because obviously he felt pity to keep me around and threw me on the case on Monday or whatever.
Is that why you're on the case now? Just because you got nothing else to do?
I assume so. I mean, I don't we haven't had a conversation about it.
Yeah.
So
I'm convinced he's working with Murchison. This is all a big game. That somehow
here we
like,
go.
Dave
Here's
was
Chris.
able.
Oh, here we go, Chris.
Dave was able to wiggle his way into producing the case. What a shock!
Yeah.
Boy, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting angle that I haven't thought about.
Yeah. Well, you want to diagnose it right here? Let's
We
keep
can go
going.
back. Go back to 2019. If you remember, Murchison.
He's a Cullinane guy.
Murchison never posted clips of Cullinane.
Right.
Was that because those 2 weeks or whatever were they not? How long after? What date was the Murchison episode that you were just
October.
referencing? October.
Yeah.
And
So
you
it's
were
just
in
like a couple
July.
weeks. Yeah. Did we do anything crazy? That
Oh, plenty of wild, wacky
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it was crazy.
Listen, I don't know. I don't know if he likes me anymore. I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard anything, but I'm not. Let me just confirm right now. I am not working with Bob Murchison. All right, you can put me on the stand.
Likely story. What else you gonna say?
I will take the lie
That's always what an
detector.
innocent
I'll
guy
take the lie
says.
detector test.
I'm not guilty.
I will take it. I didn't send the glitter bomb to his house. All right, whatever. I don't know. So.
The other thing, like similar to Murchison being involved, is obviously for anyone that didn't pick up on it, it is like 5 or 6 months ago, I mentioned that someone from Business Insider reached out to me.
Yep.
And obviously it was Julia Black. And again, the idea, like, if the story is about harassment of women outside of the workplace, why would I be involved in it at all? I know I'm a major figure, as she said, but why would why would you reach out to someone like me? The only possible option could be you're praying that I say I felt harassed and I felt like I had to come into work every day. I felt this pressure, and like she was praying for that.
Well, wasn't it roughly the same week that Dave said something negative about you on his show?
It was like 8 hours after.
Yeah, like that pretty much clears it up. Like I'm guessing she's just watching content, and anytime Dave mentions someone in a negative light, she reaches out to them for an interview.
You're right. She'd reach out, and like that's why at the time I thought it would have been hilarious if I just like made references and kind of shit on him. But I was like, this is going to be used in a way that won't be funny.
Yeah.
And I was right.
It would have been
The rare
like-
wisdom from Blind Mike. Nice job.
What was?
Thank God.
I can't even. I can't
Could you
remember
imagine?
now.
Could you imagine if I was in there dropping in like KMS references, but saying I was bullied?
And they would have been 8 months old, so no one would have understood these
would get
references. It's all about Steve Robinson.
I can't even remember what was the context in her article. I'm pulling it up right now. What was the context where his buddy there, Elio, who basically probably around the same time, she got a quote from Elio, and he was just like, "Dave's a great boss. Dave's a great man." And I can't remember in the article what the context was to include his quote in there.
Right.
You know, like she would have thrown you in there somewhere and just made you look like a fucking asshole. I don't know. It's just the whole thing is gross. He's actually, and we've been talking about it, we're seeing it online. He's got an emergency press conference at, what do you say, 2 p.m. today.
Yeah.
Which is last night I was glued to my phone to see, you know, because all of a sudden you could tell he was starting to dance a little bit. Like he was excited to release because he caught these guys doing something. I don't know what it could be. You know,
I'm guessing he's got some sort of admission of someone saying that they were lying or playing it up or something like that.
yeah.
That's what it felt
That's
like.
what he seemed to be insinuating. It has
Right.
something not to do with the stock element, but something more to do with maybe the women involved.
Well, he was saying, I was listening to the Dave Portnoy show, and he said that, what was it? One of the girls was on like TikTok or something.
Yep.
Saying, no one ever said rape. No one said it wasn't consensual. And it's like, well, what's the story then? What are we talking? If everyone said it was consensual, I don't get what even the allegation is.
Well, even if you
And he
go-
likes rough sex.
Well, even the one with the girl on Nantucket, the 18-year-old on Nantucket, whose mother filed the police report. The mother says she can't remember the incident, and then here she is quoted all over an article, like telling vivid details of, you know what I mean? Like there's so many ways to poke holes in this article that you can totally see why Dave fought for his fucking life the last 7 days to combat it because there's so many angles. We're not even talking about the potential of like insider trading and all this shit that could be going on with all that stuff. So it's wild.
I don't know if you noticed, but in a lot of Dave's messages, he keeps writing like TikTok. Like in other words, he insinuates that it's TikTok, like the clock's running out on you.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's something that was said on on TikTok
That would make sense.
that might invalidate a story that's against him. I have no idea.
I could say he's not necessarily always that subtle, so maybe not. It might actually be a coincidence, but that would be very funny if that's what he's doing.
Yeah, with the Dave stuff, I had a thought on that. I do wonder, like, what is this guy thinking sometimes? Like, he's in his 40s, he's talking with these younger women. And,
Oh, yeah.
and even if I actually,
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what he's thinking.
well, no, right. But the more time goes on, the more I'm starting to really believe in his innocence because there haven't been any other stories that have followed suit.
Listen, I know I'm the guy that would be defending him here, but I also have every reason to not defend Portnoy.
Right.
But that was the first thing I thought, where it's like, this is the best you had? I'm actually impressed that you could interview every woman Portnoy's ever been with, and you can only find this? And he's parading around with
Right.
fucking 20-year-olds, and he found a couple girls that are like, well, it was a little weird, and my mom was mad about it.
But like, what does he think? Like, where are his friends? Like, what is he thinking?
What do you mean?
Like, if my really rich, powerful, famous friend was acting this carelessly, I would be like, what the fuck are you doing?
I think we're overstating probably how often it happened. Like, he's not sleeping with a new girl every night when he was single, I don't think. From his DMs or anything like that. I think it's...
I don't know. I'm sure he had a good time.
Yeah,
I'm sure he had a good time, but I don't think it was like... I don't think the volume is what that article kind of portrayed, or what that mother portrayed in the police report.
They did in that article with the what the police report was like one of the people at the bakery said they see him with a different girl every day or something.
Yeah.
I think the mother said a different girl every day comes out of his house or something like that.
Well, I think the correct answer would be, like, if you're with a different 20-year-old girl every day and everything you're doing is legal and you're polite, you're a gentleman about it, then there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
that's legal.
Obviously,
my
it's
argument would be
legal.
change the fucking law. If a 40-year-old
Right.
shouldn't be with a 20-year-old or a 25-year-old, whatever, then change the laws. That's not Dave Portnoy's fault. That's what he likes.
I would just be, if it was my friend or my family member, I'd be like, this seems like careless behavior. Like, you're really powerful. People really don't like you. People really want to take you down. You have to be super careful. You're not just, an insurance salesman. You have to be really, really careful. And he said, I mean, to Dave's credit, though, he said it in one of his first videos. He's like, I've been sloppy. Like, I'm really scared right now.
Yep.
And maybe this is just one of those things you kind of learn from. You're like, oh, I got to really,
And, like, it's easy for us to say, like, didn't anyone tell him, hey, you're going to get in trouble? But it's like, you could say that with fucking DiCaprio. He's still swinging dick around. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of guys you could say that about. That doesn't mean they should be accused of fucking rape. And that's the crazy thing is, now rape is going to be attached to him forever, when that's not even the allegation in the story. But now, like, people in my mentions saying how can you defend this rapist and shit? It's like, that's not even what they're talking about having happened.
Well, that's in this world we live in. That's like guilty until proven innocent, where this story could be completely retracted.
Yeah.
And, Business Insider could have egg in their face. They could take everything down. That's still a stain he's going to have on his reputation forever.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, it's completely unfair.
The headline, I was literally screaming in pain. Young women say they met Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy for sex and it turned violent and humiliating. That is fucking insane based on all the context of that article. It is insane.
Yeah. No agenda. Just thought you were a major figure. Wanted to reach out to you.
It's just
Right.
Do you guys want to hear, kind of just to bring it back to the Minifan world, and just so you know, this is going to go everywhere but the main RSS feed. So I do think there's a lot of people that probably listen to KMS. They don't hear, maybe we'll play audio from Token CEO as well. They don't listen to Token CEO. They don't listen to the Dave Portnoy show. So, but you guys want to hear when he was talking about Murchison on his show the other day?
Sure.
By the way, we forgot to mention the fact Murchison's in this. Should have discredited the whole thing of all time.
I'm not totally clear on exactly who he is.
Oh, he's the craziest dude who ever lived. Seriously.
Okay.
The quick
Pause for a second, Dave.
Yeah.
It's funny just to think of, like, 2 years ago when Portnoy was like, I don't get why you don't just ignore him.
Yeah.
Quit talking about him. He'll go away.
I can understand that perspective, though, if I was Portnoy in that moment.
Having no knowledge of,
I think my advice would be, right, like, just leave it alone. Just ignore it. Like, I think that's what I would probably say, too.
Right. Where,
If you don't know any different.
Well, that's why I've been saying, and obviously now wouldn't be the time, but like when the podcast started and everything, I would have loved it if Kirk went on like Rogan and all these out, like could have gone anywhere he could, Tucker Carlson, fucking wherever, because I want people to expose who Bob Murchison is, because it's something that you've never heard of before. It's beyond cancel culture and activism and all that shit. It is one guy whose sole purpose in life is to take down another guy because of something he kind of said once years ago. You know, like it's the craziest fucking story. And like, you know, all these guys that are into cancel culture or whatever, this is so far beyond that I would think it would be such a compelling story. But for whatever reason, like media outlets have not picked up on who is Bob Murchison. Even the one that wrote about him, Business Insider, hasn't asked themselves like, who is this fucking guy? Why is
They
he
didn't even
attached to
explain it
Barstool?
well in their story. Like you said, his only reference is that he follows Barstool for the last couple years.
He's a Barstool
Like
follower.
it didn't even really tell Bob's story.
We've quoted Deke Zucker, who is experienced in like what the fuck?
Glenny Ball.
He's haunted Minahan since his days at EEI, because Minahan talked in some regard to about like transgender in sports. Murchison has a transgender child. He didn't like what Kirk said, even though I don't even think Kirk said anything that bad. I'm not quite sure. And then went he's super rich and obsessed with destroying Minahan. Put him in an insane asylum. Literally ruined WEI, because every advertiser he reached out to and got them to like cancel pull, and EEI didn't have Minahan's back because they just wanted this to go away. So that's the story there, roughly. Minahan, we hire when he's done with EEI over this. It all ended on the Murchison stuff. When we hired Kirk, Murchison
I like that he
followed
says his name
him
wrong.
here and added Barstool as a target. So I think we had like fucking restraining orders against this guy. He's crazy, beyond crazy. Now, he comes after me and whatever. He's obviously going to do anything he wants. There's nothing to stop him. He may have a different cat that he's dealing with right now in me. Like I don't
don't
have time
really
for him
agree
right now,
with
but
I
that.
don't
his-
either. I don't know.
I don't
know-
really agree with that.
I think maybe just because Dave is, you know, he's got the numbers of followers and people
Yeah,
kind
Dave's
of looking
got a
out
bigger
for him.
platform, I guess. I don't think Dave's going to Sherborne with 1,000 stoolies or whatever the fuck it was.
Yes.
So I don't know if I really agree with that. I guess the point would be as far as I know, Dave doesn't struggle with mental health stuff, so maybe it wouldn't affect him in the same way.
Yep.
So that I get that would be the only point I think he has there, but
I think the platform, I guess, is the bigger point to me. Like
Yeah.
he has such a huge volume of people that listen to him,
Right.
as opposed to Kirk has a great audience, but it's not Dave Portnoy.
right.
Yeah.
Whereas it'll be if Portnoy goes off on a rant about Murchison, it might be covered more places than if Kirk did it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess but Dave was framing it more like I'm stronger than Kirk
He
because
felt
I
like
don't,
that's what he
I
was
don't take
saying,
mental
yeah.
health.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Kirk's a lot more vicious and brighter than Portnoy is. So I don't.
Yeah, it's funny because Portnoy's always the one to call Minahan insane, like he's gonna
Right.
like go off on people. So it's funny to hear him frame it that way, like, oh, you're dealing with a badder dude than,
Yes.
than Kirk, which I don't really agree with necessarily.
I'm just saying, it like you got a different cat. You got a different cat. I got bigger fish to fry. Like when he came here with Kirk, I said it's like, listen, Merchants is his thing. I'm not gonna get in the mud here. Like that's a dispute that we inherited. Now it's our dispute. It's been ours for a while. But Kirk and I had a very funny exchange. Because this all hit, Merchants is in it. World War III's happening, and I'm ready. Like, all right, Kirk, you love the mud. Give me your sword, buddy. The guy's checking into a mental institution. So I talked to him about it, and he's like, "You can tweet it," because I didn't want I want him to get well. But there was somebody posted a GIF that was perfect. Tony Soprano, like when he comes out of the insane asylum, just grabbing a pillow, like getting ready. That is what I pictured Kirk. But yeah, again, Ava Louise and Murchison are sources. People who know, and like, but the thing is, Business Insider knows. Julie Black knows.
Where's the thing about the
Julie
Minifans?
Black-
Is that coming up?
I think it's coming up in a little bit. Yeah, I didn't know if you
side.
were.
To the Barstool side, like there was always that.
Oh, we'll be playing it. I'll delete that up.
I mean, his advantage versus Kirk is he can put Kirk in an insane asylum. You can't put me
Again,
in
it's simplifying, but I get what
I'll
he's
put you in it.
saying.
Yeah.
I get what he's saying. Whereas Portnoy's never had that experience, I guess. But
an insane asylum.
Well, I hope Kirk's doing better.
Yeah,
On a serious
definitely.
note. All right, Dave. 3 champagne bottles are engraved.
Yeah, and by the way, in a weird way, I think the Minifans now fully over. Fully over.
On your side?
To the Barstool side. Like, there was
gotta
always
say,
that.
though, they have been.
Yeah, they really have been.
Who was defending you last year, Dave?
Dave has an odd memory.
Well, I thought the same thing in a couple of seconds here as well.
Side?
To the Barstool side. Like, there was always that. They're like the Wild Things. And
The Wildlings.
Yeah, the Wildlings and fucking Game of Thrones. But they're finally on our side now. They are. It's like they have no king. Minahan maybe, but Minahan's missing half the time. They can't find him, and then they just go nuts. Like even Blind Mike I saw defending the Wildling.
Blind Mike had this guy's back. He's done nothing but trash me. And I've been on the front lines trying to support this motherfucker.
What Dave doesn't know is Blind Mike is our king. This is our king now.
I'm all you've got.
Good Lord.
Yeah, no, I thought that was very funny. Even Blind Mike, I was like, hey, man, I remember you said the N-word. Yeah. Where'd you back there, buddy?
But you're right. Like the Minifans are the first ones to jump in and defend the word last summer. They were in this situation, so it is.
It's funny. Like I really feel now, like it should be more that like Stoolies are in line with the Minifans finally.
Yeah.
Where like for over a year now, you've had sort of this woke movement and. I was away. I didn't hear a lot. Did many other people I saw like Riggs had a nice tweet about Portnoy and stuff like that. But did people come out and defend him? I didn't see a lot of it.
Yeah, it was actually
Okay, good. I
really heavy duty. Like,
I wasn't saying it. I wasn't casting aspersions. I genuinely, I was away.
I thought so.
I might have missed that. I saw like what almost felt a little too scripted. Like I've known Dave Portnoy for 5 years.
That was like
and
the
they
Riggs
all-
one that I saw.
Yeah, and they all use the word honest. I'm not trying to shit on anybody. It's an awkward situation. You're kind of waiting for company guidance as to how to proceed. But I didn't see a lot of people like just start getting in the mud and fighting unless I missed it.
I guess not. I guess I meant on the support side.
Yeah.
And you're right. It was awkward at times, but like I think was it Kelly Keegs might have gone back and forth with somebody. There were a few people
really?
that went back and forth.
That surprises
with people.
me.
Yeah.
I would say this compare it to the stuff that happened 8 months ago or more
Over
than
a year
that now,
ago.
right? A year ago.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. Where everyone was like radio silent.
Yeah.
Or negative toward Dave.
Right.
This was very much, I thought, much more positive toward Dave, supporting
Okay,
him.
good.
And maybe sometimes, I think Kirk even mentioned on the Monday episode, some of it was kind of dumb. They were like, oh, Dave's a good guy. It's like, well, you don't really know what happens behind
Sure.
closed doors. Like
Yeah.
but it was at least, there were at least some sort of character witnesses from Barstool side
That's
that
good.
came to Dave's side.
Because the only reason I brought that up is that like a year and a half ago when all the stuff over the summer went down, no one defended Portnoy except for hardcore or Stoolies and Minifans.
Yep.
And the Minifans, I think, at least from my perspective, were louder than anyone else. So it's funny, his memory gets fuzzy with that stuff. But I hope he remembers the Minifans the next time this comes up because I feel like they always have his back.
I would say, like, if you're judging it, and sometimes it's tough to judge because the employees of Barstool probably were a little fearful to, like, get behind something and not know. Like, Nardini didn't say anything literally till the Token CEO podcast that came out this morning.
I haven't heard that yet either.
Yeah, and it's nothing. I mean, she defends Dave. It's nothing crazy. We can play it in a second if you guys want.
I was disappointed about one element of that. So I listened to it on the way in.
Yeah.
And Murchison calls her out in his part
Yes.
of the Business Insider,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And she makes no mention of Murchison, no mention of herself being in the story. It goes back to, I would call it she's a CEO. So,
Yeah, right.
very political, safe defense of Dave. Certainly a defense of Dave. And then at the end, though, I would say the interview she had on was clever. She had on someone who Business Insider had smeared in the past.
Yeah.
And so to have it from another perspective, I think was pretty bright on Erica's part of like, all right, this isn't just our story. This has been going on for a while. Here's someone else has happened to.
Yeah.
And it also took some of the heat off of her, and she was able to kind of put it on this other person.
Yeah, I saw Tim Dillon tweet something out about a Business Insider smear campaign that was coming after him too. So it's like I guess they have a history of this, which I didn't realize Business Insider was going after these social issues.
Comedians.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
But about the fuck, I had a thought about the Erica thing. God damn it.
Well, my point going back to that was kind of employees or people part of the business might have been a little fearful, but like sentiment on social media immediately rushed to defending Dave and just ripping that article to shreds, like almost immediately. And maybe it's because I think, Mike, you and I were talking about this before, like maybe because we have our little timeline bubble of what we follow, we don't see the outside world. Obviously, I saw some people retweet it and say Dave Portnoy's disgusting when it first came out. That all that shit felt like it went away within.
Yeah, I didn't hear a lot of that.
By the time Kirk was recording that Thursday at 3:00, I felt like all of that was gone. It was just a couple quote tweets in the afternoon, and that was done.
And that's why I don't know how bad this is for Portnoy. Like, obviously, it's bad. You don't want that, obviously, but I don't know how much it stains his reputation because I didn't hear a ton about. Again, I was away, so I wouldn't have. But like, at least like the shows I was checking in on and Twitter and shit, I didn't see a lot of things outside, you know, this world that were really commenting on it and attacking Portnoy.
Yeah, I mean, this is a company that put it behind a paywall, first of all. Like, you know, like they were using it to drive subscriptions. And then, you know, that day I had reached out to them. Obviously, I know Dave had reached out. They won't talk about it in any way. Like, they're hiding behind it.
I messaged Julia Black and just said, "Why did you lie to me?"
Yeah.
And she has not responded. Yeah. I'm still waiting.
It's just,
You'll get an answer one day, Mike.
it is insane that they don't have to answer for that in any way. And maybe
crazy.
it's just wait it out and see if the legal process. But to Dave's point, I think Dave on his show was talking about, like, he can't sue. There's nothing there's no angle he can go at and potentially win.
That's what I was talking about
Yeah.
with Murchison, where the way Murchison goes about it with Kirk, he knows that Kirk can't technically sue him or have him arrested or anything. Like, they do handle it, not well, but right from their perspective, I guess. And that's the thing with Julia Black and Murchison is those people are lying purposely. They're manipulating facts. They're spinning things. They're taking things out of context. They're purposely lying to get you to click on articles and believe a narrative that isn't true. Portnoy will have to answer more for an incorrect, inaccurate article than Murchison or Julia Black or these women that were involved in the article, that they will not have to answer for it at all. And that's why I brought up messaging Julia Black, because even to me, she could have said, "I didn't lie to you."
Yep.
You know, I reached out to you as a journalist. You gave me an answer. I respected that. She doesn't even answer that kind of a question.
Well, Portnoy said it best. He said they print and run.
Right.
Which is...
She'll never have to talk about it again.
It's pretty despicable. Like, if you print it, then you got to stand by it. And you really need to, and you know, especially if it's something that is, you know, you're hurting someone else's reputation or a business reputation, you have to at least stand by what you wrote. And you should be doing that proudly. To do that and then just hide away, that shows a lot. It also shows a lot, like you guys were saying, none of the major media channels picked this up.
Yep.
Like I saw TMZ grab it, but you know TMZ is a blog.
Yeah,
and that has, but like you know, ABC, NBC, CBS, and believe me, there are people in those networks, I'm sure, that would love to drag Dave.
Right.
I think they might have seen that there's not this story. There's some problems.
There's
here.
a horrible
there's some holes
story.
here.
Yep.
Yeah, this isn't well written. It does, and maybe based on what we're going to get at 2:00, maybe it wasn't even well sourced.
Right.
So if that's the case, then
Well, it wasn't just by Murchison being in the article.
Which is why
people like me being, God knows who else was asked. You know what I mean? Like, at least I technically worked there when it was like 6 guys in the office. God knows who else she reached out to.
Which is why, and I don't know if Kirk alluded to this on that episode or not, but like why we all think that Murchison played a much bigger role in this than it's coming out, or just like than just some quote in the article. Like, everybody has known that this has been coming for over a year. You know, all right, let's say at least 8 months, because that's everyone's saying 8 months. They reached out to you a long time ago.
Yeah.
Dave on his podcast said, "I know this hit piece is coming out about me." It's easy for a guy like Murchison, who tracks every fucking move of Kirk Minahan, now of Dave Portnoy, of Barstool, to pick up on that and then weasel his way into that fucking situation. That is an easy thing, and that is why I don't believe it's crazy to think that he played a much bigger role in this entire article.
So what do you mean by, like, what do you insinuate, or what are you getting to there? Like, that's where I don't know if I completely agree.
I think that when you start describing something as a hit piece, and then you have an activist on the outside who knows that's coming, he can weasel his way in there to get a narrative out there. So maybe, I don't know.
Okay, no,
So,
I agree with that.
So to enhance a narrative, because who knows? I don't know. I think that she wanted to portray Dave in a bad light from the start anyway. I don't think this was a business profile, Dave in the workplace or anything like that, but I think Murchison took it probably to a darker level, in my opinion.
Can I have a guess too why Murchison how Murchison got involved? And again, Kirk may be 100% right, and he would know a hell of a lot better than us if this is something Murchison would be involved in. But my first thought was, I didn't go back and listen to when Kirk was on with Portnoy a few months ago, but it's very possible that Murchison's name came up, just like mine did. And
Right.
Julia Black said, "Oh, that's another name I should reach out
Correct,
to."
correct.
And Murchison was probably much more willing to talk.
Yeah.
which was great
Yeah,
for Julia.
do you think Murchison, when somebody says they're going to write an article about Barstool Sports and Dave Portnoy, do you think he just like sent one email with a couple quotes in it and he was done?
Oh, no way. No.
I think.
They were probably in contact every day.
Correct.
We all agree. The reason I was pointed to Dave there was I've seen some Minifans suggest that like Murchison was like the initial driving force of this, and I don't think
Well,
that's
Kirk
the
said
case.
as much. Kirk believes that. I think.
I think the story. These Business Insiders seems to be people that kind of specialize in long form
Yeah.
smear campaigns.
Yeah.
And I think that Barstool's an easy target.
Right.
But I think you're exactly right, Mike. Once Murchison's name came up and they reached out to him, then the floodgates open.
And from my perspective, again, Kirk knows how calculated it is and more how he works and everything. But just from my perspective, I don't think the story would have been about Dave Portnoy if it was Murchison. I think it would have been about Kirk Minahan, or at least named him.
You mean the other way around?
I'm saying if Murchison was orchestrating the
Right.
article,
Oh, I agree. No,
they at
exactly.
least would have
Right.
said Kirk's name. You know what I mean?
Right.
They would have tried to smear
It would
him
have
as
been
well.
more, right. It would have been more anti-Kirk than
Yeah.
this nameless. But maybe maybe Murchison and the reporter kind of had an agreement or something happened where because it's so bizarrely shoehorned in that article.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has no
Doesn't
place
make any
being there.
sense.
They don't name Kirk. It's so weird.
very weird.
Yeah.
It was definitely.
If you're reading it as an outside, I always like we talk
Right.
when we talk about like prank calls into radio stations and shit. Kirk always brings up the 70-year-old in Omaha,
Right.
That like is just like, what the fuck is this? Imagine you're reading Business Insider and you stumble, you don't know anything about Barstool, and you like, well, who is this trans? Someone said something about trans people. I don't even get who is it. How can I find this person?
and then a paragraph later, they never talk about it again.
Right.
So you're like, what the fuck just happened?
It is. It is going to be wild to see what he says at 2 p.m. because the tentacles that could come off of this story is fucking monstrous, right? Like it's not. We haven't even started, and I know we referenced in the beginning a little bit, but like Henry Blodgett, who was barred from the SEC, owns the Insider, right? That maybe has some connections with the gaming industry. Like there's so many tentacles to this that smell of shady business.
Oh, I definitely believe insider trading is possible. Like obviously.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that it just reaches to so much. Like, this could be almost a book in its own right. Of how, it depends what he says here. If it just comes out that he has,
You should write that book, Dave.
I can't write that book.
No, I want you to
unfortunately.
write that book.
I can't write
I
that
think
book.
it'd be really good.
Unfortunately, I can't. But I just think there's a lot of angles where
The first line is, this book should have been written, so I'm writing it.
I can't.
It's all over the place. You think the Business Insider piece is all over the place? Imagine if Dave wrote a book.
And I don't even fucking know. I'm just saying it has tentacles.
bug.
It is, there's a lot of tentacles.
Well, we'll wait for 2 o'clock. All right, we'll just do that.
What did,
you know what I feel bad for? I feel bad for the poor schmuck that just wants some inside business news and subscribes to this
that's what I'm saying.
this newspaper online.
what
and
is this?
It's like I just want to read some inside business.
what did Erica say? I will say before I have not heard this yet. That's the thing I was going to say about Erica before is I don't know what she says here. Maybe I'll completely flip around. But I know like when Kirk mentions Jerry's way of handling like or Greg Hill's way of handling the radio business or whatever, he always admits like that's probably the smarter way to go about it if you want to keep your job and if you want a peaceful life and everything. It's not the more honest way. It's not the real way to handle it, but that's probably even magnified for Erica, who's the CEO
Right.
of the company. And if she says something, then it's a whole shitstorm, and then God knows what happens to the stock price. That
Right.
So
Every word Erica says affects a lot of people.
right.
I also have gone really deep with Dave. And, a lot of people have said this, but Dave Portnoy is the most honest, forthright person I have ever met. And 100% to a fault.
I will say,
I've-
even an honest rapist. You know,
There we
what, you know what I mean?
There he goes.
what rape? Hey, I've been raping this week. You know, like the Norm bit. Well, he's not a hypocrite. So yeah, I don't know. I guess, but
I mean, okay, so on the other side, what is Erica supposed to say there?
Right, yeah. Right.
I guess like any defense of Dave is brave, especially for a woman.
well, my defense is just whether or not he's honest. I believe his side, and I don't believe the other side
She
based
doesn't
on what
quite
I read.
say that. She
Right.
just says that she speaks more, and this is kind of what the people were doing on social media. The Barstool personalities is more like, I trust Dave.
Yes,
I know
correct.
Dave. Nothing about the allegations. Nothing about anything else, unseemly. It's more just saying positive things about Dave.
Yeah, I don't know him well at all, but I heard his account of what happened and read the opposite side, and I just believe Dave, whether or not he's honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but you also,
you make a judgment call
in
after.
fairness, like Mike also has a history of defending anyone who's been.
Even enemies.
Okay.
Even people that hate me.
I mean, he's wearing a Bill Cosby shirt right now, which is bizarre, Mike. Did you get that at Skankfest? It's very strange.
But like, there's nothing wrong. Like, I know we don't know everybody, but there's nothing wrong with. We've watched this guy produce content, bust balls. It seems like he's an honest guy. Like, there's nothing wrong with if he's accused of doing something and all the proof isn't there. There's nothing wrong with having his back. And even if it came out that it was the wrong move, it's still like all your information that you were gathering over years of watching this person led you to want to defend him.
Oh no,
There's nothing wrong with that.
I totally get why Erica
Yeah.
said. I just think it's funny the idea of like, well, he would tell me.
Yeah.
Let's hear what else Erica said.
I've seen how this has torn him up. I've seen him fight for his life on this. Dave is someone who I've worked intimately with for 6 years. I trust Dave, and I believe him. And what the facts are showing is that what Dave is saying is true. And so I think that, the ask to condemn Dave when the facts don't support it is really, really difficult. I also have a lot of questions. What were the motives behind this article? Why did it drop on the day of earnings? Why was there a massive shorting of the Penn stock? What took the reporter 8 months? Why wasn't this fact checked in a way that it could have been? Why won't Business Insider talk about the article with Dave or with Barstool Sports? And so those are things we're grappling with and looking at now. We continue to be super vigilant.
It doesn't seem overly political. No, like I like that she said. I was thinking it would be more, down the middle than that, where she's literally saying there's a lot of flaws in this article.
Well, she's saying there's questions about it. I guess if you kind of, I don't know. I mean, but then again, what else is she going to do? She can't come out in full blast like Dave is. Like,
She
this
can't
article
say they're
is
lying.
full
And
of shit. Right.
And it's not her personality.
She's
either.
like, I have questions. Why was it dropped on this? Instead of saying, I'm angry this dropped the day of earnings, she's like, why did it happen? Which is clever, and she's very smart.
Yeah.
This is probably the right way to do it.
Yeah, if Portnoy said this exactly verbatim, then I would be like, well, this is a weird political kind of
Right.
answer. But that doesn't surprise me from Erica.
Dave, I guess one question I know some Minute fans have is, has Erica or Dave, I'm guessing Dave's busy right now, but has Erica reached out to you? Have you had any conversations with Erica in the past, like, what,
Do
week
they
now?
still know you work here?
No, definitely not. Are you alluding to like because Kirk's on break or anything
Yeah,
to do with
yeah,
the
yeah,
article?
yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I just assumed that Kirk reached out to them, and then I think they know that he's still going to be working on the case in some capacity, and I think he probably alerted them that I'm helping. So yeah, but I haven't heard anything.
Do you know anything about the Wilbur? Because I don't know.
You were at the table.
As
I've had
much as
maybe
I do.
One or two texts, but nothing like crazy.
Yeah, because it seemed like based on Monday's show, it seemed like he still plans on doing that.
Yep.
But I know there's a lot that would go into that.
Yeah, I assume, and that's why I say I think he's going to be active, and I think the biggest thing is probably what you kind of opened my eyes to more this morning, Mike, is just coming in here, 3 times a week, and basically like being, in all honesty, being yourself, telling your life story every 3 days a week is the part that would be difficult for somebody going through what he's going through, right? Like working on the Wilbur behind the scenes that people don't really know about, working on the case, which is a completely different project, doesn't involve his personal life whatsoever. That makes way more sense to me than being comfortable with coming in here and saying, I took a shit in the woods and I ran, or this happened in my family life. And you know what I mean? Like it's a much different mentality of what he's working on versus doing this.
And just the idea of saying like, oh, forget about Murchison or don't talk about him. It's like, I think Kirk would be capable of that, but I don't know if he's capable of it with it not eating away at him. Yeah. Where like I think it would really bother him if that was happening and he wasn't able to talk about it for some reason.
And I think it's kind of the shame in all this is that because if you listen back to that episode I mentioned a couple of years ago, like Kirk's kind of more or less saying, "Hey, we won." The fact that Murchison is being so pathetic here with the clicking and everything.
That's a win.
It's a win, and I think he's absolutely right back then. Like that absolutely is a win. Like. Look, EI played it all wrong. Murchison ruined the station. They should have fought back. But the fact that you can come here, you can have a successful podcast. Most of your sponsors stick around. Yeah, you're going to lose Bombas socks or whatever. You're going to lose a couple, here or there. But the fact that most stick around and you can still have your show, that's a win.
Yep.
But,
completely.
But I also, it's easy for me to say Murchison's not trying to ruin my life.
Right.
Like if someone behind the scene, even if they're failing at it, is still trying to destroy you, that's gotta fucking be horrible.
Yeah, and
I think the ultimate win for Kirk would be if he does walk away from the podcast and Murchison is reduced to like trying to ruin the three of us. It's like we don't have anything, motherfucker.
I would ask if he does do that. Start with Mike. Mike Geary,
Literally
blind
nothing.
Mike
What are you gonna
Geary.
do? Email Patreon. Go ahead.
you know I'm safe, so I'm good over here. I'm
You
fine.
always did. Yeah, I'm next. That's very bad.
I will just say this to that point, and this is going to sound like business culling or whatever, but I do think that the industry has changed so much since when Kirk started, even though it doesn't feel like it's early in the business. Like when Kirk first started, ad agencies like paid attention to every single move because there weren't as many clients that they were working with. Now it's exploded. So when one guy is able to get the attention of a big ad agency and get, a Bombas to take notice, that it's a major impact. Now that's happening every fucking day because so many people are spending money in podcasting now. So I'm not trying to get like inside the weeds, but I do think it was a different time back then. And you can tell because now the show has 6 advertisers a show. There's no
Right, he's not
problems.
affecting it in the
It's
same
not
way.
affecting, and
Yeah.
he's still sending the same fucking emails to the same people.
Dave gave the same spiel to the consultants on Gary's show. Because I was like, all right, Dave, all right, pipe down, calling in.
We just listened to him.
You cuckface.
Interesting.
Yeah, whatever you say, Dave. Yeah, sure.
Speaking of ruining Dave's life, by the way, was the last episode that I was on when we called your pizza guy?
Yes.
Have fences been mended?
Fences have been mended. He actually yesterday tried to give me a free pizza and I declined it.
Wow.
So, yeah,
What a
things
guy.
yes. So fences. He just didn't understand what the fuck was going on.
Almost would have been a nice gesture if he didn't come on here and brag about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, yeah, right. Yeah,
That's true. That's true.
Aren't you hot shit? No, I suggested a little behind the scenes that to Dave, I was like, do you want to do like a studio show with Mike and I, or should we do like goofy shit, like go to the pizza place one day? Or I think we could do a Legend of Bagger Vance movie rewatch.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Like, that would be easy enough to do.
Yeah. So sure. I'll do that any day. Any day you want to do that.
But I don't know. Like, so what is the plan for this? Like, whatever this is.
I don't know. I think we just.
It's great. Don't get me wrong. But.
Yeah. So obviously Mike was gone. We didn't even ask you how your trip was, buddy. I didn't even. We probably.
great.
Yeah. All right. That's
I'm a
good.
Texan now.
So-
Really?
Oh, yeah. I love it. Those are my people.
Wow.
I look slim down there.
Yeah.
So how did you get so svelte, sir?
Yes.
Well, I just wanted to see, Mike was gone. Wait till Mike comes back, and then maybe the three of us could get in the room and do. I don't know. I know we talk obviously a lot about Kirk today, and I know we talked about the Portnoy article, but I think maybe a once a week show where we're doing the topics that would be done on KMS, as opposed to just kind of an update on is Kirk coming back? Is Kirk not coming back? So I think something taking this, like obviously we planned out this show with content and stuff like that. And then we can add on top of that, goofy shit or whatever. But I do think it's important to kind of, I don't know, keep producing the show the way the show was being produced and just put it on the different platforms that are available to us.
I say, whatever you say is best, I'll do.
Yeah.
When I worked here, I did not handle that well. So whatever you say is best, I will follow you.
Well, I'm sure I'll take shit about it eventually and stuff like that. But
The last break, me and Mike did a Cheers show. Mike was screaming at me about it was like Cheers point. He's just yelling at me. I'm like, oh no.
Can't remember.
I got angry at me like half those shows. I want to say.
I remember that,
Yes.
but I don't remember what I got angry about.
One time you got angry at the fans. We
Yeah.
cut that out. One time you got mad at me. I think you thought I was being too uppity or something. It's like working with Carano.
I remember that happening. I just don't remember. I wish I could remember what it was about.
do you guys want to, and we could do a game or whatever, but do you want to open up the phone line so we can tweet it out?
It's up to you. You think
Yeah.
we've rambled too long?
Yeah,
or
we've
no?
definitely rambled way too long. For
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Here, let me open them up.
Colin has his finger on the pulse.
We've rambled way too long. Let's go a little longer.
Yeah,
Open
right.
up the calls.
Well, get some feedback from people.
All right. Hear what they have to say.
Are people even expecting this number to go out?
No.
So people don't know we're doing this right now?
Nope.
Okay, good.
Are you going to frame it as if this could be Kirk on the line? Or?
I'm doing the exact same
Yes,
tweet.
make sure you-
I'm doing the exact same tweet I've always done.
No,
except
don't do that. Don't
definitely,
do that.
definitely
No, I
don't
didn't
do
want
that.
that.
I
No,
did.
no,
I just tagged
What
you
the
in
fuck?
I tagged you guys in it instead. I don't know. Jesus, there's no playbook here.
Don't make it seem like we're doing
Yes.
the show.
Here's a playbook. Kirk's not here. You fucking idiots.
What do you mean?
How's that?
You guys are tagged in it, not Kirk. Kirk's normally tagged in it.
no one will ever think anything beyond that.
my
They're going to think they're talking
Well,
to
I didn't
Kirk.
mean for them to think that. All right. God.
God, you'd be getting crucified if two men were in this room, but luckily.
I should tweet something out right now. Kirk's not here.
Just
Colin A's an idiot.
Don't call.
Quote tweet it and say, sure, tweet it that. We got one call coming in. There we go.
God.
These poor people are going to be like, oh, Kirk, I'm so happy you're back. This is great.
Kirk's not here. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Oh, you two fuckers. Great.
They hung up.
Probably.
Oh, well, this is going flawless.
Oh, good God.
Did you expect anything else?
All right, retweet that, Mike, please, if you don't mind.
Oh, I'll retweet it.
Retweet it.
This is what he asks Kirk to do all the time.
I don't know. He does that on his own, doesn't he? I don't ask
He
him.
does. He can see. It doesn't take away from the show.
All right,
I
let's
have
see.
to scroll through this fucking...
Let me see if let's see. Let's see if 617. Should I have done a different tweet there? Did I fuck that up where you thought Kirk was going to be here?
Yeah, no.
Oh, well, at least they sound good.
God, hello.
Jesus Christ.
Are you there still?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna
Soothing
mute you.
sound.
Hold on,
Oh
I'm
my
muting
God.
you. Didn't this happen last time I was trying to play audio from the
You
computer?
said the computer was broken. You had to reboot it or something.
I had to
remember?
keep refreshing like Adobe Audition and
The
this.
poor guy. So first off, that guy calls in thinking he's talking to Kirk.
All right,
Then
hold on. Yeah,
He
now.
sounded so disappointed.
All right, you back? Let's see how you sound.
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh God, no. Oh God.
Well,
That's fucking weird.
no phone calls. That's too bad.
I can't wait to hear the case. This is gonna be great, Dave.
Yeah,
Fuck
please.
that up too, probably.
It's a whole different element there.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Ah, cunty Chris, he's back. Doesn't matter what the elements are, he's here.
I know both of you have prepared a game. It's my understanding.
I'm a little nervous
that
about.
correct?
I'm a little nervous about that sound though. But yeah, let's do the game. Why don't we do a game?
Oh, this
Well,
phone calls went swimmingly as always. Dave.
Here, let me just see. Let me play
Should
the-
we do that? That feels like a Kirk thing.
I
feel
have a
like-
game that you guys could play. I don't have too many that you guys could play, but I have one that you guys could play.
I know, but it feels like I feel.
Is that too intrusive?
It feels like
I don't
we're
have too much.
we're ripping off a Kirk segment. You know?
I guess. What else are we gonna
Let me,
do, Mike?
yeah, if
let me
we're gonna
hear
try to do a
let me hear the
show.
pitch of the game.
It's a KMS. It's not entertainment. It's strictly a KMS game.
Oh, I gotta get him on a
okay.
phone call.
About
That sucks, the
producers.
phone lines won't work.
Play the music, I guess.
we don't need to play the music. Maybe the music is Kirk. I think.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
yeah.
hold the music. No,
That's,
no.
it's
What?
the
That's
computer. Audio is all
Everything
fucked
sounds
up.
terrible.
It's so fucked up. Hold on, let me try to fix it so at least I can get the you guys.
My
hold on.
voice is the best thing about this show, sound wise.
Let me see. What would be different?
Oh boy.
Yuck.
So, what was the worst thing that happened to you in Texas, Mike?
Worst thing?
Yep.
The flight down sucked, and after that, it was smooth sailing.
Nothing negative happened. You and Alba didn't fight. No
we had a
stand-up comics
tremendous,
mocked you?
we had a genuinely tremendous time. Texas is amazing. It's it's not what television and movies portray, where you get down there and they're like, well, obviously you're down here to beat some minorities with us, right? Like, we didn't experience any racism. It was the most diverse place I've ever been to. It was beautiful. Genuinely, I'm a Southerner now. I'm a Texas guy. I might move down there.
Would you move down there?
I would like to. Alba did not
Do
feel
you
the
like
same.
that weather? It's a nicer climate out there. I think
It was
than is here.
genuinely beautiful. The summers would be a little rough, but
I'm kind of disappointed you had so much fun. but-
Conan is misleading you.
I'm not misleading you. I'm gonna fix it. I just gotta reboot the computer. Unfortunately,
All right.
I don't know why that noise is coming.
I'm trying to think. Well, so one ominous thing was we went to some Mexican restaurant, and we got our food, and we left. And one of the guys working there said we just got to Galveston. We left Houston, went to Galveston, and this is the first place we went. We just stopped in for lunch, and the guy goes, "Stay safe out there." And the next 2 days, we were looking over our shoulders,
Right.
what? That is is that not a weird thing to say to someone instead of have a nice day, stay safe out there?
No, I've heard that before. I think he's just concerned about you.
Very
Obviously,
ominous. I did think maybe the cane is
Maybe.
he's thinking oh, this guy's hobbling around. Stay safe out there, buddy.
maybe people liked you as much as you like them out there.
It really felt that way.
Because people here, I don't know. Do you think people here like you very much?
No, not at all.
Right.
It was nice to not be sneered at.
What's going on over there, Dave? How are we doing?
Well, I just rebooted the computer.
Yep.
So hold on here. You guys know technology. Sometimes it can be a problem every now and then.
Oh, and the one other thing is 8 people died where I was, and I
Yeah.
Oh right! Holy shit! I forgot about
I
that.
drugged them, and I wasn't caught, so I guess that was good that I got out of there.
It's anytime a Geary goes on vacation, just mass deaths.
Yes, I did not follow in the family footsteps of being at a tragedy at a concert.
Close enough. Jeez.
Yeah, no, that is not where I was. Very weird, though. I don't, with the Travis Scott thing, I don't get why he would be liable for any of that.
I guess there was some sort of talk that he might have known people were dead or people were dying, and he kept the concert going.
I can't imagine
how-
that being true.
It seemed like there were a lot of people. I don't know.
I can't imagine. He's like, people are dying on stage. It's no big deal.
Right.
What's happening, Dave?
I'm just entering to get the phone lines back up.
This is a long
There's
process.
a lot of well, the computer's got to reboot here. People are on. Let's see. Let's try to go to
Quite
this
the
guy.
process Dave goes through every day.
Try to go to this guy. Hey, 617. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
There you
Are you
go.
guys trying to push Kirk over the edge with this? What the fuck?
What?
Yeah,
just
that's what
doing-
I said.
I guess I worded that tweet inaccurately. That was a bad call by me. I apologize.
All right.
All right, what's going on
When are
with
you guys going to come find me?
Oh my God! Wow.
I didn't even pick up on the voice. There he is.
Now, by the way, this is a guy we heard did not reach out to Kirk, but he's reaching out to us twice now via Twitter and. Hello, Steve.
I talked with Kirk just the other day.
Oh, okay. He said that you had not reached out on
Yeah.
Monday.
By Monday? No. I mean, I figured there was such a flood of idiots reaching out to him. I was just going to wait.
How dare you?
You know, you don't need to be the first person to call.
I crafted my text better. I've had a few shots at it, so I think it was better this time.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't
All right,
text
what'd
him.
you say?
No, I did.
Oh.
I said, I hope you miss me while you're gone. You've done a lot for me. No, I don't know what I said. So it was very vague, and the response I got was, thanks.
So
See, it's a lose-lose situation, really.
Are you going to give us?
You're either going to push him over the edge or you're going to get ridiculed later.
Are you going to give us clues to where you are? Because we have no clues at this
I
point.
just told you. I'm in Cleveland.
Oh, you're in Cleveland.
Oh.
We'll just wander around
Yeah,
Cleveland.
I'm in Cleveland.
Have you gone anywhere? Haven't you been in Cleveland for a while?
Like 3 months.
No, I recently came back. I got a wedding to go to, and then I'm off to parts unknown. I am. If any Minifans actually listen to this, I am looking for recommendations in Mexico City.
Is it a wedding of someone you know, or are you just kind of hopping around weddings out there?
I'm hopping around, crashing. Got to get food somehow out here.
By the way,
You're going to Mexico City? Is that what you just said?
Yes. Yeah.
are you I thought Dave said 617. Are you disguising your numbers so we can't triangulate your
No,
location?
I think I saw a different
I
phone
don't
number.
know.
too,
I don't know what the hell he's talking
Yeah,
about.
no, I saw a different phone
Like,
number.
he said 617. I just went with the beep. Again,
okay.
he
That's
said
all you gotta do.
acknowledge
Yes.
that I said
He's doing a great job producing the show today, Steve. He really is.
Have you
Fucking mess.
listened to
my
the show
God.
at all since you've been on?
$29,000.
That is going to send.
$29,000.
That would send Kirk over the edge to not hear that live, unfortunately.
Steve texted me that
That was the
like
show that
3
I
weeks
listened to.
later. He was like
I'll be honest,
$29,000.
I was listening to that show afterwards, masturbating. It was magical.
Oh, good God.
I will say the video you made was much funnier than anything you ever did on the show while you were here.
Okay. Well, I will take your opinion as the expert in comedy.
Thank
now
you.
With your new podcast.
Thank you.
I review my bank statements every once in a while, and I see a little $5. I'm like, Patreon.
Well, that's proof you don't subscribe to Quantum Week, Steve, so fuck you.
He's only a $5 member.
I never pretended to be interested in Quantum Week.
We've had you on our show, you bastards.
What's the plan for Steve Robinson professionally? I heard rumblings that you're writing a book, perhaps.
Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of writing,
Ooh.
but mostly non-public professions. I'm getting into a little bit of Bitcoin mining, potentially starting a business, looking for farmland up in Maine.
Do you want to do like 40 minutes on Bitcoin to really piss Kirk off?
No, I've already told the Minifans that they should be buying Bitcoin. Every single one of them would be retired if they listened to me.
Excellent. So no more radio or podcasting for Steve Robinson ever?
No, I'm done. No.
Really? Wow.
That's big news too.
Yeah, fuck that. No, there's no the American project has failed. All you can do is buy Bitcoin guns and go hide out in the woods with your family.
Do you miss what do you miss about the show, if anything?
I mean, working's nice. You know, I miss.
This is a guy who really loved the show.
I think no. I miss I miss being plugged in from time to time, but it is much less stressful being where there's no cell phone service and you're not following the daily drumbeat. Although I am very unsuccessfully staying off of Twitter, as I'm sure everyone could see.
It's nice that you said you want the Minifans to be retired, because I thought you would have a different R word for them.
Well, I mean, I think they all know that.
He's
the ones that are capable enough, anyways.
Have you at least appreciated that the people that called you a lying scumbag fuckhead for 2 years are like, boy, I really wish Steve was back now.
Oh, have they? Who is this? Is this the bitch tits guy from Maine or the little midget from Australia?
I don't know about them specifically, but the people in general are down on Cullinane.
He really loved the fans, didn't he? You can hear it in his voice.
Well, he's got fun nicknames.
Real admiration there.
He's got fun nicknames for him.
No, I have to say I don't miss them at all whatsoever.
Do you miss Mike?
Yeah, of course I miss Mike. I text Mike with Mike once in a while.
We do. Very short, but we do chat here and there.
Yeah.
You can hear this magic right now.
We've always had great chemistry.
You got 1,000 different projects going,
That's right. I am.
You're
a content machine.
I tell you, I am. Something I have been following though is the shit with Portnoy. I'm excited to see what he has at 2 p.m. I always like to see some crooked journalists burned down.
I thought it was a good piece, actually, Steve.
You did. So what's your deal, Mike? You're back 2 days a week now?
Well, not now.
I don't know if you know, Steve. These are up in the air.
Yeah, it was
when the Kirk Minahan show. Before the Kirk Minahan show ended, you were doing 2 days a week, or did you negotiate for payment, or are you still,
no. I said give me the exact same promotion, just double it. Twice a week now is all I asked for. Well, yeah, it was me twice a week and Chris on Fridays. I don't know if that was going to change with Carabas coming back, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to admit, I haven't listened to a single minute of his podcast with the Degenerate Gamblers of the Red Sox.
He asked all the tough questions, Steve.
I don't think you're the only one, Steve.
Mike, throwing some bombs.
We were supposed to get his contract situation this week, right? Because there's been no progress with Barstool, so we're supposed to find that out. But.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess Kirk was supposed to negotiate it for him, but I guess that's not going well.
No, I think that's what Kirk's doing now. He's just an agent behind the scenes.
Yeah. So, is anybody? So, which of the Minifans is going to step up and take care of this Mob Burchison problem? If you get what I'm saying.
That's very good, using Deadspin tactics there. Yeah, I don't know. It's wild. How wild is it that piece used him and his credentials are he's covered Barstool? Like that's his reason for being in that article.
He's just some BuzzFeed blogger or Pete reporter or something.
All right, Steve. Anything else?
I think most people could see through it.
Anything else you want the Minifans to know?
Pick up a bunch of pen. Yeah, pick up a bunch of pen while idiots are short selling it.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah. All right, boys. Good luck.
All right, buddy.
Calling in, Steve.
Take care. Be well. Whatever you texted to Kirk last time.
Yeah. Good luck.
Soon.
Hope all's well.
All right.
I'm sure someone will see you in Cleveland.
He's out here.
Oh, see him in Cleveland, folks.
There you go.
I feel like he hasn't left Cleveland. He might be lying to us.
Yeah, because that was one of his first
He's
stops.
never lied
right?
before.
Yeah.
Does he have,
honest guy.
Does he have family there or something? Is that what?
Yeah, I think his in-laws live there or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yep.
Cleveland's a good city, though.
Yeah.
All right, you want to take a couple more calls?
I suppose.
Hello.
Well, it's kind of tough to come in and shit on Dave after that because that was kind of exciting to hear Steve.
Well, I'm glad you're excited.
You can still shit on me. Go ahead.
Yeah. Are you going to give Menners the fucking YouTube or what?
I'm not going to give Menners the YouTube account. All right, what's your next question?
Like
And
the
first of
fucking
all-
poor
first of all,
guys on
it's-
fucking Suicide Watch.
First of all,
It's-
it's Kirk's it's Kirk's real estate. We're not giving it to Menners. All right.
It's a hilarious sentence. It's also a hilarious sentence to have to say in anger.
I know.
I'm not giving. How dare you think I would turn over the YouTube account to someone like a nefarious character like Menners?
So I'll push back. I'll push back a little on that, Dave. So if not Menners, then whom?
Then-
Because the channel is stale right now. I know obviously we have mitigating circumstances.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I wish it would be more active with other people. So we'll try to get up. This is going to go. Actually, no, this is going to go on the main YouTube channel, not the network. But hopefully more people
Look at
want to do
us.
shows. I would love for people to feel like, all right, if unfortunately, Kirk's show is not going to be here for a little bit. Maybe some other people would want to come in and host shows. Maybe the Rundown guys want to do it. I would love it. I got nothing but time to be able to help produce these things. So I would
So
love
they
to
should
get
reach
going.
out to you. If people want to do a show in the
Absolutely.
network,
But
they
we've
should reach
said
out to you.
that. They know that. We've said that before.
All right.
So yeah, reach out anytime. You guys want to take a 508 here? Let's see. 508.
Stop banging. What are you banging? You hear that, Mike? He's like, bang, bang, bang. It's
I
like
was
Judge
banging my-
Wapner.
I was
It's funny to
going
know
That's
now
annoying.
the discussion we had last or whenever I was in when someone brought up that he says the area codes. It's funny to now know he says the wrong area codes.
No, I
So
was
it doesn't even
looking-
matter.
That was something when I refreshed the browser. All right, shit's going wrong here. All right, that
hello,
call just that
hello,
call
508.
that call just
Still
disconnected.
banging.
Oh,
He's still
terrific.
banging that thing.
What do you mean? I'm not. It's the mouse.
That's the mouse?
Yeah,
Oh, he is banging it.
Isn't it annoying?
I'm not banging anything right.
I won't unhear it now.
I know. It's like doing a show with Judge Wapner.
People are getting on and then dropping off immediately.
I think they're realizing what's happening here.
Oh, they're hearing. They're
Yeah,
hearing
they're
us.
They're
You were
wise.
tagged.
They're wise to your game.
You guys were tagged, not Kirk. That was why.
Yeah, no one will ever think otherwise.
Oh, okay, all right.
All right. Is this a person? Hello.
This is a person.
All right. Let's get that.
Jesus Christ. All right. never
Let's
mind.
end this
All
shit
right,
show.
whatever,
What was the
This
game
is
you had?
entirely Conan's fault. I had a producer trivia game about producers, so questions about producers of KMS.
Let me hear it.
All right,
Oh, it's just trivia. There's no.
it's just trivia.
Okay, so this would actually be a game then.
It is a game. It would pit
Oh, so
you
this
versus
is
Dave.
this is completely different than what you do with Kirk. This is a
Yes,
game you're
right.
playing. Okay.
I'm pitting you versus Dave.
All right,
Who
go ahead.
knows more about KMS producers?
So what did we do? We said that the music was
Yeah, no music.
Okay, no
It
music.
feels wrong without music.
that's how music is. That's Kirk's thing.
Can you find new music?
I can play my music. You want my music?
Nah, let's do it without. Let's do it without music.
all right,
Well,
fine.
this bit will suffer.
Yes. Well, we all are. I think everyone listening to this is suffering.
Let's hear it.
Okay. All right. So it's going to be a game of whoever gets to. We'll go to whoever gets to 5 points first.
Oh, this is a legitimate game.
It's a
now.
legitimate
Oh,
game.
Completely different. All right,
Completely
I'm,
different.
I'm in.
All right. So the first way to get points is naming the producers of the KMS show. You guys are going to go back and forth. There are 6 men who have produced KMS. For every person you get right, you'll get a point.
Okay.
So whoever gets to 5 first wins, because I have other questions beyond this.
Okay.
So so we'll start with Dave.
Okay.
Name-
Steve Robinson.
That's 1.
Dave Cullinane.
That's 2.
Matt Carano.
All right. 2-1.
Justin Trudeau.
2-2.
Rob Doherty.
3-2. Can you name?
Craig Acone.
Wow, nice job, boys! You got all 6 producers.
Well,
so
wasn't there one more who was involved with somebody who was producing the show that I named?
Tim Riggles.
Yeah.
No, I count him as a
Assistant?
as a
Sidekick?
sidekick.
Okay, we
Yeah,
got
he
him.
falls in the sidekick. So it's 3-3 there. I'll start with Dave. So you guys will go back and forth with this.
Smart to do this game with even numbers, by the way.
It is. It'll work out.
Okay.
It'll work out. Relax.
All
This
right,
is my first rodeo. All right. How many shows has Steve Robinson produced? Dave, you start.
Is this just whoever's closer? Because,
Yeah.
Okay.
How many shows? So I'm gonna say 3.
How many shows has Steve Robinson produced?
Are you talking about like different
No,
different
I'm sorry,
show-
episodes. Excuse me.
episodes?
Yes.
Oh fuck, I have no idea.
Right,
It was
no,
like,
no
yeah,
one.
3,
I
4,
didn't
I don't know.
expect you to, Dave. This is the game.
I'm gonna say like 215. I don't know how many
Okay,
episodes.
Mike, do you think
have
it's
been.
more or less than that?
Price is Right rules?
Nope, just simply more or less than Dave's answer.
Oh, more.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So Mike gets the point there. Now the question goes to Mike. How many episodes of KMS has Dave Cullinane produced?
Oh, boy. 106.
All right,
Less.
that's correct.
Yes.
70,
Oh, wow.
74 I have.
Wow.
Not counting this one. And I'm only
How did you?
I went through each episode. I did not count recap shows. I did not count when Kirk was out.
Okay.
Okay. So this goes to Dave.
How much time did you spend on this?
A lot of time. I spend hours on these fucking things, and then they get belittled, and I cry. Dave,
I enjoy the prep work. that
how
went
many
into this.
episodes has Matt Carano produced?
Matt Carano has produced
insanely boring game. But
See what I'm talking about.
But I like
fucking asshole.
But I like the rules. I'm
This
complimenting.
is not a bad game.
It's not the worst game in the
This isn't
world.
the worst game in the world.
Okay, continue.
I've done worse games here.
I'm not sure, but I'm going to say 8.
All right, now, Mike, if you get this right, you win. More or less.
Oh boy.
If you get it wrong, you lose.
More.
That's correct.
Wow.
I had 22.
Oh, okay.
I think
Wow.
Matt says he's done 25, but I only counted 22. But Mike, congratulations. You are the winner of KMS
Good
Producer
job,
Trivia.
Mike. Good
Is
job,
it
Mike.
sadder that Matt is counting them or that you're going through each one? I don't know which is
I don't know if
worse.
Matt had an exact number, but he said it about that. Because
Oh, okay.
I was thinking
Oh,
it,
then he's right. It is about that.
Because I've been in the studio like 10 times less than Matt.
Really.
Yeah. Matt's been in like a lot. Because Matt had whole weeks where they were doing 5 episodes a week.
See, it would feel like you've been in
I know.
more.
But Matt actually has.
Oh, yeah, I guess the 5 times a week
Yeah.
thing makes it feel like less,
I think he
probably.
did at one point like 7 episodes in a row or something. Because remember Steve had COVID or whatever?
And he was suspended once.
Yep.
And I think Carano was
covered
in.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Carano's actually done quite a few episodes.
Yeah.
But Cullinan has surpassed him now.
All right.
That was a good game. I like it.
Thank you.
A lot of effort there.
I'm
Appreciate
the
that
master
effort.
of trivia. And
You are. You are the
Yes.
king of KMS
oh,
Producer
excellent.
Trivia.
Another feather in my cap.
All right, guys.
All right.
All right, we've done enough.
All right.
All right.
I wasn't expecting the Steve Robinson call. I'm happy that happened.
No, it was nice.
That was
Yeah,
great.
It's nice of him to do that.
Yes. How long has this gone on for?
We're probably about an hour or so. Maybe. I think I started. Maybe a little longer.
So
than
should
an hour.
like
Probably longer.
are we gonna do this again in the future? Or do people want this? Like what is the?
I guess we'll find out.
Let's put this out there. I'll make sure if we
right.
do this again, that I don't tweet out making people believe that Kirk is in the room. That was probably a bad decision.
No shit, Dave.
No, you know what? Tweet out again. Say Kirk's
Yeah,
here,
Kirk's
taking your
here.
calls.
Yeah.
all right. That's all right.
He's all better.
Feeling great.
Yeah.
Taking calls.
Couldn't be happier.
That's what you should have done if you were going to be vague about it. Don't tag any of us. Just tweet, feeling great, taking calls.
Oh God. All right. 2 p.m. Dave Portnoy. What else? Anything else that we got?
That's it.
That's
Maybe
it for
we'll
now.
see you guys again.
Go
Maybe
subscribe to these two guys on Patreon if you guys want to plug it. What is it? Patreon.com/. You do it.
/Blind Mike.
There you go. Chris.
and Quantum-Week, and then we still have live. We have the live show next week, next Friday. Oh, actually, it's a question for you, Dave. Next Friday, we were supposed to have the other people come in, the winners of the WEI thing.
Yes.
Maybe that's why he left. It was looming over him.
I would like to still do it, and I've talked to at least one person that, I mean, if they're in the area. Some people
Okay.
are traveling already for your show.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I thought it would be nice to still go.
I mean, one of the guys
Yeah.
wanted to fight me the last time I saw him. So
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys don't have to
no,
come.
I'd be happy
but
to come and
all
see
right,
him
cool.
again. But so is that? So, and then we're all going to go to Papa Gino's, sadly, without Kirk being. This sounds like the most pathetic.
We're going to offer this to people. If they want
Again,
to come, I wouldn't blame them if they didn't want to come.
To rip off the analogy I used earlier, it's like you're going to the Louvre, and they're like, well, we took out the Mona Lisa.
all the paintings.
We
have no paintings.
We took out all the
We have
paintings.
one fingerprint, one finger painting that a second grader made. What a sad thing for these people.
Hello.
Hey.
I'm like, can you believe it? They're going after this comedian, and it's a different take than I had on the last one.
Oh, what a sad. These poor people. I genuinely. Coming here, it's almost worse.
If we do this again, we're going to have a little bit more confidence next time. All right, fellas? It's not a bad thing that we
All
did
right.
this.
Well, lift us
All
up,
right?
Dave. Thank you.
All right,
Dave.
let's get out of here.
All right.